What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action spawning in the middle of the map in the blue color, playing as Isis. His name is Hagrit. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Poseidon. His name is Buggy. The map is competitive mega random. Competitive mega random. There you go. Fantastic. That's all you need to know. Game 2 of this best of 3 series for the group stage of the competitive mega random tournament. Buggy vying for a spot and Hagrid also vying for a spot in the main bracket. After the group stage, we go into a main bracket where the winners and second place finishes of every one of the groups get to duke it out. It's single elimination. You lose, you're out. It's best of 5, best of 7, best of 9, depending on what stage of the tournament. I think semifinals is going to be best of 7. Finals is going to be best of 9. And the quarterfinals, I think it's quarterfinals from the beginning, it's round of 16. So you get a round of 16, a round of 8, a round of 4, which is semis. So the best of 5s are going to be the round of 16, round of 8, and then you get the semis, which is best of 7, and then you get the finals, and which is best of 9. And the third, fourth place matches will be best of 7, I think. Anyways, I can't actually remember what I wrote. I don't know. Anyways, onwards and upwards. Hagrid playing Isis here, deciding to change it up, not sticking with the Zeus. Or you can't stick with the Zeus, but deciding to stick with go in with a separate civilization here. So Isis, the god of choice here, and Buggy in with Poseidon. So not going to be sticking with his tried and true Hades in this game. And we do see a bit of a different map here. A bit of a different map. It's another snow map, so you do get the tile sets can be fairly. You can remember exactly what you've seen, but it doesn't really mean anything. The tile set doesn't give anything away. Any map layout can be on any tile set from memory. I think that's how it works. Anyways, relics on this map. We do have a Black Lotus here. This is a plus 10% villager food gather rate. And if we check just quickly where the other relic is, because we haven't seen it just yet, the Thundercloud Shawl here, which is a minus 5% human and Atlantean here appears vulnerability. So the big question that comes when you're playing Isis, and Isis I feel like is possibly the hardest god to play on Mega Random because you have arguably the worst scouting out of any civilization with Isis. The reason why Ra is slightly better at scouting than Isis, even though you might think, well, Ra doesn't even get a scout because he's got to empower at the start of the game, is because you can do at least one loop around your main base with your pharaoh while your priest is empowering and not really miss out on any economic advantage. You can go for more scouting even with the pharaoh if you don't see enough. So the advantage is that. So I'm interested to see what Hagrid's going to be doing. But one thing that I've noticed, and one thing that I think gives away a lot about an Egyptian player's strategy, is how early they get on wood. Now, this is slightly different for Ra, but for Set and for Isis, if the Set or Isis player decides to go for a one town center play, often they're going on wood in the archaic age. If they're not going for the one town center play, they're going for a 2 town center play, they're not going to go for wood in the archaic age. That is essentially the big difference between 1 and 2 town center plays. Effectively, for every civilization, there's some guesswork you can do. Is if you walk into your opponent's base and you see them with pickaxe or hand axe or husbandry in the early stages of the game, oftentimes that means they are choosing to stay 1 town center. As we're actually seeing Hagrid getting a super early husbandry here and going to be advancing as soon as his temple is up. And if you do go for a fast heroic, the actual interesting thing to keep in the back of your mind is that your classical age being quick doesn't matter that much. It really doesn't matter. You don't need to get 4:30 advance times, 5-minute advance times if you're going for a fast heroic. So 5-minute 30 advance, completely fine for a fast heroic here for Isis. And the Isis can actually, they doesn't even have to go onto this food and risk it. He can actually, or she can actually stay in her base, eat these cows, go heroic age, and after she's in the heroic age, move out onto these caribou and enjoy them a little bit later in the game. Those are all options here, but this is for Hagrit quite clearly going to be your tried and true one town center ISIS play. We'll see what Buggy's going to come up with. He's got himself 5 villages on gold, 4 villages on wood, which, I mean, oftentimes would indicate to me some sort of a fast second town center play, but I think Buggy here, and with 1 or 2 villages not enough on this wood line, actually does indicate one town center cavalry. 5 villages on gold, that is. So he's going to throw a stable down. He's going to go for mass cavalry, which is actually like 1 town center Poseidon going mass cavalry can actually deal with the 1 town center fast heroic of an ISIS player. But this is no regular ISIS player. This is Hagrit. He's going to be probably going double monument at some point, and he's probably going to be going for Scorpion Man, Chariot Archer, Siege Tower, which is incredibly difficult to deal with. We see the Sphinx out here for Hagrit. He can actually get himself a second Sphinx fairly soon. I don't see an armory going up anywhere just yet. The interesting thing about, or difference here with ISIS from like vanilla days, and that is the original AOM, to Titans, is that in vanilla days you would kind of want to just rush heroic age as fast as you can. You would see like heroic ages as fast as like 6:45 or 7 minutes, but for the Titans it doesn't seem to be that much of an issue, whatever the reason is. And we're seeing Hagrid throwing up his temple really fast here with 5 villages. But this is very vanilla style. We would actually see this most of the time here for Egyptian players or ISIS players. Just 1 villager getting thrown up immediately, 1 minute after it takes about 1 minute to build, and then you get up to the heroic age, no problems. But he will be advancing very, very fast here with his 30 population. His Sphinx going to town on the Hippocon over here, as the Theseus getting a lot of free hits over here from that Theseus, and Hagrid's going to be retreating back to his main base here. Nice marker there from Buggy, almost able to take out that Sphinx, as we do see Prosperity getting thrown up. One thing that Hagrid's going to be a little bit wary, has to be a little bit wary about here, is his gold situation and his gold mine to boot. If Buggy has enough units here, and he does have himself 42 or 45 population, he can come in and really put some serious pressure onto Hagrid's gold mine over here, because he has not defended this well at all. Normally we see houses getting thrown around the gold mine this exposed, but Hagrid's just giving opportunities here for Buggy to get some serious damage done, especially if a Politer comes through here for Buggy. He can sit on this gold mine and cause a lot of issues. But Nephthys just about to pop here for Hagrid. Do we see a second monument anywhere? Looks like Hagrid's forgotten his second monument. It's not that big of a deal, but well, I mean, it kind of is. You really do need Scorpion Men if you're going for 1 town center plays with ISIS against Poseidon. The Scorpion Men special attack helps slow down the Hippocon so that your Chariot Archers can be targeting them while the units are coming in to attack you, as we do see the barracks getting thrown down as a little bit of a safety measure. But Hagrid's simply just going to throw up his Migdol stronghold right on this location. He does have a gold mine very nicely placed over here, and then he's going to start spamming out units as best as he can, getting that priest to empower or heal back up the Sphinx as well. And we'll see what Buggy is going to try and do behind this. He does have his armory up, and he's already going through Dionysus. This is a very, very good timing here from Buggy. It looks to me effectively like a semi-fast heroic here for Buggy. The problem is with a semi-fast heroic is you have to get to heavy cavalry before you engage the enemy units. Before you engage the Migdol army of an Egyptian player, you need heavy cavalry. And Buggy is a ways away from getting decent population and heavy cavalry to deal with his opponent here, as the Chariot Archers coming through. Siege works coming up here for Hagrid. Now we see Hagrid going to be moseying out of his base, while the Hippocon here for Buggy going to be searching for something. Now you can actually get crenellations when you see your opponent going mass Hippocon. Oftentimes you can just get crenellations, and it's completely fine. Hagrid does react very, very quick here, though. Can be retreating back into his town center as the villager here getting chopped down. But those villagers going to get back into their home base. We will be seeing the units of Hagrid wandering forward, going to try and take down the Theseus. getting a lot of good damage done as Buggy is going to have to retreat away. Here's Hippocon very much out of position, running straight through Hagrid's base. They're going to take a lot of damage from the town center, and not only that, the tower also getting in and doing some serious damage here. As the Hydra over here does pop out for Buggy. Unfortunately, he doesn't really have any stray huntables to kill to get free heads from, but Hagrid's going to be searching for something to attack here. Might even see an Antithesis Eclipse onto the economy of Buggy, and that's exactly what he's going to be doing as units wandering in here. The village is going to be making a break for the tower here, as unfortunately the Sphinx getting targeted down by the Hydra. We do have the priests going straight after said Hydra, as the Scorpion Men going to be chasing that one down with the Eclipse Empowerment. Meanwhile, Hippocon have managed to find a handful of Chariot Archers on the way forward here. Nice find from Buggy, but he's going to be losing a lot of villages here. The differential in villages currently is 13, which is a huge amount. And while Greek villages do gather faster than Egyptian villages, it's still a very, very big advantage here for Hagrit. We'll see if Buggy can defend here or not, as the Hippolyta does end up getting carved out here. Theseus over here about to get picked off as well from the Chariot Archer, as it looks to me as if a very real problem for Buggy is arriving, which is no gold mine, and Hagrid can effectively just sit here on this gold mine if he so chooses and cause serious problems for Buggy, as Buggy is simply just waiting out the Ancestors Eclipse before going back to work, but he's now down to 19 villages, as another Hippocon going to get taken out here, and Buggy going to be losing even more villages here in this game, as he has to mine gold, and he needs units, and he's sending over his Hippocon, but Hagrid's just got so many units out already. 87 of 118 population, lots of resources in the bank. He can definitely think about getting himself a second town center here if he so chooses. He hasn't actually made siege towers just yet to push in and kill Buggy, or actually like pick off his buildings, I should say. He's already kind of causing serious issues for Buggy as his village is moving forward. Maybe going to look for a town center or something like that. At this point, it seems like Hagrid's actually not mining any gold. He is deciding to get himself shaft mine here, as the stable going to get taken down, and Buggy does click the ceasefire here, as we see a Migdol coming up on the forward location. Hagrid might decide to go elsewhere here, jump onto a town center instead, but he will be going on to the mining camp here, as the game is struggling to... Oh no, he's decided to just delete the Migdol and build the town center. Fair enough. Town center going up for Hagrid here. Very good. All right. And we'll see if Hagrid can maintain this pressure. I mean, it's 110 population to 34. Ceasefire does give Buggy some opportunity to get to that heavy cavalry that I spoke to before. As Crenellation's coming up as well for Hagrid, leaving nothing to chance here. But the general strategy here for Poseidon against one town center, if he's one town center versus one town center, which we don't see very often, is heavy Hippocon rush, mass Hippocon, try and quell the damage that is Ancestors Eclipse, and then push out and try and get a good fight with your heavy Hippocon. But that hasn't happened thus far, and Hagrid has got a commanding lead here. Double the villagers just about. And we are seeing the Chariot Archers scouting out this gold mine, making sure it's not getting spotted, and checking out the rest of the map as well, as now Hagrid can move forward. He's got himself a siege tower and everything else. The villagers over here do need to build this mining camp, which they have seemingly forgotten here. Villagers onto this gold mine as well, as the Chariot Archers swinging around the bottom, going to be picking off some villagers on this wood line over here. And now the gold mine of Buggy getting absolutely demolished here. So the villagers retreating away. Do have a handful of units here from Hagrit, which you could be putting more pressure onto this location, but kind of just playing it safe. It's fair enough, tournament days. So stable getting repaired back up here for Buggy. Must have been a slight misclick. A couple of those Prodromus getting built actually for Buggy, which I don't recommend unless your opponent is raw, making like mass cavalry. Prodromus probably not the option against this army. A handful of Scorpion Men are now out here as well, as the Chariot Archer swinging around. Buggy with a good reaction there. Doesn't lose a villager, but he does leave said villager battered and bruised by all of those arrows here as the chariot's returning back in onto this location. As Buggy looks away for a second here, Hagrit picks off even more villagers. The elephant's wandering forward here. The Scorpion Man going to do tons of damage. You can actually send the chariot archer in as well to take this down. There is the bronze here from Buggy. One last valiant effort here to defend against the onslaught that Hagrit has been dealing him. As the Theseus gets targeted down first, those Scorpion Men going to go to town on the medium Hippocon here. Not only that, we've got heavy chariots out as well, which is a really, really big ticket upgrade for Hagrid to have in this game. And those Hippocon are just not going to be enough here, ladies and gentlemen, as the Scorpion Men carve through all of these units. The siege tower has been taken out on this location, but there's not a whole lot left here for Buggy. He does have himself 400 gold in the bank, has moved over onto this gold mine, and we'll see how he's going to go. And this is the end for Buggy. Does decide in the 14th minute that he has taken enough of a beating here from Hagrid. Hagrid, 2 top caliber player for Buggy here in this game. A valiant effort. He did actually execute the fast heroic variant of this strategy fairly well. The follow-up to it, which is getting up to full supply Hippocon, just didn't seem to work here for Buggy. The problem with it is he probably should have gone with Aphrodite to curse Hagrid's army, and then he have to start production from multiple different stables here. The reason for the semi-fast heroic is to prevent this gold mine from getting grabbed. So you leave Hippocon on this gold mine, or you pressure wherever the Migdol is, try and force a defensive ancestors. And then when you're in the heroic age, you get the boost on your Hippocon from being trained in 20 seconds. They get trained in 15 seconds. 15 seconds is much, much faster than 20 in the grand scheme of things. And so you can get to mass Hippocon much faster once you get to the heroic age, and then you get yourself heavy cavalry, and then you fight and you live the dream where that's concerned. Buggy didn't do that though, and Hagrid played it very, very solidly. Lots to learn here from Hagrid though. He demonstrated this strategy very nicely. I do think that he probably could have done with a second monument here. Idea being that you have tons of wood in the bank, which means because you're going for a wood-based army, you go for siege towers, you go for chariot archers, you get Scorpion Men, and that's going to overpower your opponent. You can see that Hagrid's actually managed to build 2 Scorpion Men here, but this could be upwards of 5 or 6 Scorpion Men in the end of the day. But didn't do it, but it doesn't matter because he outclassed Buggy. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.